what to do when someone gives you the silent treatment. Someone can give you silent treatment, but it's very, very important to know how to recognize that the silent treatment is abusive. Sometimes we go silent because we want to avoid saying things that might make us regret later. Sometimes you go silent because you don't know how to express yourself, or maybe you feel overwhelmed. But we know people, specifically or especially the narcissists, they will use silent treatment as a way of controlling you, as a way of exerting power over someone, as a way of creating emotional distance. So if someone does the silent treatment on you, it is painful. These people who use the silent treatment on you, what they need is to punish you. They might go silent on you for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, weeks, months, so that they can achieve their goals. Now, silent treatment is emotional abuse. The same way you talk about physical abuse is the same way you talk about emotional abuse. Now, sometimes because of that painful effect of the silent treatment, you might find yourself wanting to do everything to break that silent treatment. So you might try to please the person who's giving you that silent treatment, to break that cycle. Now, when someone does the silent treatment on you, it reduces your self-esteem. It makes you lose the sense of belonging. It makes you feel that you've lost control. So when someone you love, someone close to you, someone dear to you, does the silent treatment on you, it is a form of punishment. Now, how do you know that the silent treatment is abusive? Now, when it is frequent and when it's lasting for longer periods, then it's abusive. So when the silent treatment is done as a way of punishing you, then again it's abusive. So when the silent treatment stops, when you say sorry, when you beg, plead, or when you give in to the demands of the person who's giving the silent treatment, then that's abusive. So when you change your behavior to avoid getting that silent treatment, then again that's abusive. So what do you do when someone does the silent treatment on you? What do you do when the narcissist goes silent on you? Now, what you should remember is that it's not about you, it's about them. Now, if this is not abusive, then probably it is the person might be hurting and they want to get a way out. So if that's the case, you can want to talk with them, show some empathy, and try to resolve things. But sometimes it is that's not the case. So if they don't want you to talk, they don't want you to solve things, then just leave them alone, ignore them. So you can also tell the person that the silent treatment hurts you and makes you feel isolated and frustrated. And that's not what you want in a relationship. You don't want that kind of silence in a relationship. Talk about that silent treatment is not a way of solving relationship problems. Then highlight those issues. So if you believe that you cannot stomach this kind of thing, the silence, then make it very clear that it's a relationship deal breaker for you. You can also ignore the silent treatment until it blows over. Sometimes let them go silent until they can move on. Ignore them. Mind your own business. Focus on you. Behave and pretend that it doesn't bother you. Distract yourself by having activities outdoors. No, get engaged with your hobbies. Don't give them the reaction they need. Just show them that that silent treatment will not get them what they want from you. The other thing is to offer solutions. Have a face-to-face meeting with them. Listen to them. You can go to couple counseling together. You can also stand up for yourself. When the silent treatment is now getting to being emotional abuse, just know that you are not in a healthy relationship. So prioritize yourself. Put yourself first. So have firm boundaries. Go to counseling with your partner. It can be either individual or couple counseling. Work on that relationship. Work on the communication issues. Have boundaries and state what will happen when those boundaries are crossed. So don't respond in anger when someone is silent on you, because it might make things worse. Don't beg or plead. It might encourage that silence. Don't say sorry just to stop it, to stop the silent treatment. Don't continue to keep reasoning with that person who's giving you the silent treatment when you've already told them about your likes and dislikes. Don't take it personally. Don't threaten to end the relationship. You only threaten to end the relationship if you're prepared to do so. So there are other different kinds of emotional abuse, and that includes frequent yelling, insults and name calling, anger, embarrassing, humiliating someone in front of others, jealousy and accusations, making decisions for someone without their permission, spying on someone, stalking them, attempting to isolate them from family and friends, exerting financial control, blaming them for what goes wrong, never saying sorry, threatening them, threatening people they care about. So emotional abuse can have effects, negative effects such as loneliness, low self-esteem, despair, depression, and some other chronic fatigue. So thank you for watching this video. If you've learned something, please say it in the comment section below. Let's build each other up. All right, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Silent treatment among couples. So silence, that is refusing to communicate, to engage in conversations, is mostly used by many as a control tactic to get power in a relationship. That is what silent treatment is. That is toxic, it's unhealthy, it's abusive, emotionally and physically abusive as well. But if you are going silent as a way of taking a break, taking time out to think things quietly and then address issues later, that is not silent treatment. It's not the same thing. Now, let's look at the silent treatment. The silent treatment is a control tactic. It's a manipulation tactic that can actually leave the important issues in a relationship unresolved. So the person who's undergoing the silent treatment may feel worthless and loved. They may feel hurt and heartbroken. They may feel confused, depressed, frustrated, annoyed, angry, worried, anxious. They feel useless, worthless, valueless, and important. So when one partner or both of them refuse to talk to each other, it's a nasty, cruel type of power in the relationship, which shuts the other partner down But it also shows that you don't care, or you don't want to communicate or collaborate that relationship. So generally, people use silent treatment to control the situation, to manipulate others, to control the conversation. Some use silent treatment to avoid, they use it as a tool to avoid taking responsibility, or they use silent treatment to avoid admitting wrongdoing. So, for instance, if you are angry that your partner is cheating on you on their cell phone devices, you may start a conversation, and you express your feelings and ask them about why do they always emotionally cheat on you, get involved with other people in social media, for instance, in WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, for instance. So if your partner doesn't want to accept responsibility for hurting you with those moves, or if they don't want to acknowledge, or if they don't want to change their behavior, then they will respond by saying, I'm not talking about this. Or they may simply say nothing at all, and they may ignore you altogether. So when your partner, if you want to talk, and your partner tells you, I'm not talking about that, I'm going to be quiet, it means first of all, they have not acknowledged that they're hurting you, and it means they're telling you they're not going to change their behavior. So, them refusing to talk is not the same as them telling you that you're postponing the conversation, that you'll talk later. You see, when someone tells you we'll discuss it later, it means it will be talked about during a more convenient time for both partners, and that's such a healthy choice. But silent treatment is a flat-out refusal. Silent treatment is clear refusal to ever discuss the issue. Not now, not later. So the silent treatment interferes with the conversation and communication. It shows that there will be no discussion about that issue. So when they don't want to talk, it means the person who's undergoing the silent treatment will continue to be hurt. They'll continue to go through pain and to be disappointed. It means there'll be no time, there'll be no opportunity to solve that issue, to resolve it, or to compromise. So you feel hurt, you feel unloved, you feel dissatisfied, you feel depressed, worried, annoyed, confused. You feel in pain. So this issue will always be there because one partner decides they're doing a silent treatment on you, and they're never going to discuss it. So this issue will continue eating on the relationship. So these are some of the causes that lead to divorce when they become too much. So silent treatment is very painful. Your partner decides never to talk to you or to acknowledge your presence. Yes, we know that silence sometimes is golden because it prevents you from saying things that you might regret later. But sometimes silence can be very unhealthy reaction to something that is upsetting. So, mostly the silence turns out to be silent treatment, and it becomes very destructive and damaging to the relationship. And that silent treatment is a popular tool used by those who love emotionally abusing others. So, now let's look at these people who use silent treatment as a way of gaining power or controlling others in a relationship. What do? So they use the silent treatment to punish you, to put you in your place. They might decide not to talk to you for days, for weeks, for months. They refuse to make eye contact, to talk to you, to text you, to answer calls, or to respond to your text messages. So when things don't go their way, they will go back to the silent treatment. They use the silent treatment as a way of refusing to take responsibility for their bad behavior. They punish you with the silent treatment when you annoy them, when you make them angry, when you upset them. They use the silent treatment when they need you to apologize, to say sorry to them, or to give in to their requests and demands. They'll give you the silent treatment if you refuse. All right? To do what they want. So they go silent on you until you plead with them. The silent treatment, it's a method of psychological punishment, control, and manipulation. Probably you've done the silent treatment on someone, you've used it, or maybe you've experienced being treated on a silent treatment. Now, silent treatment is pervasive in our society. Sometimes when you're arguing with someone and you don't want to argue with them, you might find yourself saying, I won't talk right now. Let's talk tomorrow. So silent treatment is used everywhere. But it has some negative effects. And that is what we are looking at in this video. You see, when you stop responding to someone, stop communicating to someone, it can cause conflict between the two of you. So let's look at why people use the silent treatment. Why do people ignore you using the silent treatment in relationships? And what are the consequences? What are the negative effects of this silent treatment? And how can you deal with it? So when you understand why people do the silent treatment and how damaging it is, you'll be able to know how to solve problems in your relationships differently and positively. So, when you ignore someone, it's not only rude, it's narcissistic, it's immature, it's very cruel, it's emotionally damaging. And sometimes it can be physically damaging too. So you can't claim to love someone and yet you ignore them, because ignoring and love are not the same thing, are not in the same basket. So I will even say that silent treatment can be regarded as abuse. You see, just because you're not physical doesn't mean that when you do silent treatment on someone, you're not hurting them. When you ignore someone and go silent on them, you're actually hurting their feelings. Now, why do people go silent on others? So if you're in a relationship and you discover that your partner is silent on you, one of the reasons why they do that is because they blame you for a problem. So someone thinks you're the cause of a problem, so they decide to go silent on you. They ignore you and they believe that the problem will go away that way. Sometimes they might just be mad at you. They can't talk to you about it. So this thing makes things worse. So for me, going silent treatment as a way of blaming you is not being responsible. It's avoid dealing with the problem or avoid caring for you. So sometimes this silent treatment creates a problem that was not there. So another reason why someone will go silent on you is because, well, they just want to hurt you. We know that the people who are just love hurting others. So they go silent on you to punish you, to hurt you. Especially narcissists who love hurting people. Narcissists who are very selfish, self-centered people who only care about their needs. They can't care about what your feelings are because they lack empathy. So they don't respect you and they decide to just hurt you. So going silent on you is a way of them controlling you. It gives them control over the situation. It gives them power over you. And this is one of the typical narcissistic behaviors whereby they might even try to turn things around so that they become the victim. They become that the ones who are being oppressed. They deny that there's a problem. They make your feelings irrelevant. This is typical gaslighting. So silent treatment is used as a way of gaslighting, projection, and narcissists love it. Another reason why someone will go silent on you, they believe it's the right thing to do, or they believe it's good for you. Some people, they go silent on you without realizing the damage it causes. They think it will make things better. So they want to avoid a confrontation. They don't realize that going silent treatment is the wrong way to go about it. So it doesn't mean that people who ignore others are bad people, because we all have problems. We know that life is tough, it's difficult, and we need to find out the right ways to deal with things. And we know that time is everything, it's of essence. But despite all this, ignoring someone can have serious consequences. So what is the harm? Why is silent treatment damaging? Silent treatment causes emotional trauma or stress. So the many negative emotions that occur when you get ignored. You feel lonely, you have low self-esteem, you despair. When you are treated, when someone does the silent treatment on you, it can bring about depression, chronic fatigue, and so on. So when your feelings, your existence is dismissed and disrespected, you feel devalued, unloved, unworthy, insignificant. So the other damaging effect of silent treatment is that it causes psychological stress. We can say ostracism, that is exclusion or banishment. Silent treatment can be a mind game for some people. It can be used as a form of manipulation. It breaks your sense of self-esteem and sense of self-worth. Silent treatment may have serious side effects, physical side effects. When you feel excluded, that is when you're stressed and depressed, you can develop cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases. Silent treatment can also cause behavioral changes. It might make you behave in ways you might not behave normally. You start questioning yourself. Start second guessing yourself and others. Start doubting yourself and situations where you normally don't. In short, silent treatment gaslights people. You feel like you're bothering someone else. It makes you feel like you're being too needy. So this makes you act like not you. So when you believe they're not acting like yourself, it makes you feel guilty.